Kaimere is a distant planet. It is defined by waves of life brought from Earth and set free to evolve independently in this new context. The indigenous life of the planet, swarms of microbes called magic by the people who live there, are what harvest Earth organisms and make copies on Kaimere. As the asteroid which concluded the Mesozoic never struck Kaimere, dinosaurs remain the dominant terrestrial megafauna.
Monitor lizards are a group of highly derived reptiles found throughout much of Earth today, with the Americas and Antarctica being the only continents with their absence. Some are proficient swimmers, others hunt in trees, some thrive in deserts, and the Komodo dragon is enormous, weighing over 150 kilos and the largest males. The biggest lizard of Earth today, though not long ago, Australia would have them beat with Varanus priscus, commonly called megalania, which is generally estimated to weigh around 300 kilos and perhaps exceeding 500 in the biggest specimens. While megalania and the Komodo dragon were both harvested and replicated on Kaimere, it does not appear either lasted long in the forests of mainland Arvel. It is generally believed that big cats and theropods they competed against were simply more than these giant lizards were able to handle. However, an established giant monitor, native to Kaimere since the Miocene, resided in Kaimere long before the arrival of these Pleistocene dragons. This was already a large animal, the subgenus Allorinus, with species ranging from 2 to 3 meters, all residing in rivers and shallow seaways. While the Komodo dragon and megalania failed to assert themselves in Kaimere's ecology, as most harvested animals fail to do, a species of Allorinus actually grew at this time, spreading far and quickly accelerating its own growth to the pinnacle of monitor potential, the Moduru. While females averaging 4 meters long and 200 kilos, and males 5 to 6 meters long and 5 to 600 kilos, though capable of reaching 8 meters and over a ton in their largest specimens, the Moduru is the largest of the monitors and Kaimere's largest lizard by a significant margin, if one excludes the mosasaurs. Their sexual dimorphism exceeds most other monitors. It is believed this is a result of their size and lifestyle. Females need to be agile and athletic enough to climb on land, often quite far inland from the islands scattered throughout the Trachayam Seaway, whereas males rarely have to do more than haul out onto a beach. In the absence of size cap, males often continue growing. As females seem to prefer the largest males, this pressure is reinforced. Related and much smaller monitors in the same subgenus have far more conventional sexual dimorphism, with males only slightly larger than females, further supporting this being a unique consequence of females having to be proficient on land, while males do not. Because of their great size, Moduru have the latest maturity of any monitor. Females often don't reach maturity until 10 to 12 years, while males are rarely desirable mates until they're in their 20s. Juveniles are extremely active, being proficient climbers and swimmers. When lizards run, their bodies alternate side to side and compress one lung while expanding the other. This pushes air from lung to lung rather than in and out, in a phenomenon called carrier's constraint. Like many monitors, juvenile Moduru overcome carrier's constraint by drawing in fresh air through a gular pump so fresh air gets incorporated in the alternating strides and significantly improves their endurance. Young Moduru are especially exemplary of this, being quite athletic. Adults may not be as noticeable, but the gular pump is likely how a lizard of this size is able to have any capacity for chasing prey over any measurable distance, even if their endurance may not seem particularly impressive. Especially for the biggest males, the gular pump is how they can run at all, so it is still a revolutionary adaptation, even if it doesn't seem so at basic observation. As adults are ambush predators, unlike the juveniles that often have to chase birds and small mammals through trees or in water, grown Moduru usually only need to chase for a few dozen meters anyway. It is thought this animal was harvested from South Africa around 10 million years ago, though no fossils of this group are seen until around 4 million years ago. This theory could well result in a fairly substantial ghost lineage. Like African rock monitors, to which they are thought to be closest relation of any living Earth monitors, they have a pronounced arc in their snout, and their nostrils are quite far back in the face. In their ancestors, this is thought to be an adaptation for burrowing. In the Moduru and other marine monitors of the subgenus Allorinus, all named for their back-facing nostrils operating like a blowhole, letting them breathe while barely breaking the surface. Despite this aquatic adaptation, the Moduru rarely hunts in water more shallow than a dozen meters. Thankfully, the Tracheium is mostly shallow seagrass meadows with a few scattered islands and reefs, so there's plenty of optimal depth for them. They only swim in the more open channels while traveling, something the males must regularly do in the perpetual search for potential mates. Being able to better swim than terrestrial predators, but able to hunt on beaches with equal efficiency, likely has been key to their eruptive success in the past 1.5 million years. Their favored prey are mammals between 200 kilos and 3 tons. It is no coincidence that this enormous lizard has evolved in a habitat with over a dozen species of seagrass grazers. Their maxilla and dentary arc to a striking degree. Their snouts look at most a bit bulbous when closed, but seeing the skull allows one to appreciate this structure, enabling their concealment and protection of a formidable arsenal of teeth. Like the unrelated crocodile monitor, they have comparatively few teeth, but these teeth are quite large. These long serrated teeth are perfect for cutting and tearing into flesh. Most of their prey have thick skin but aren't armored, meaning that long cutting teeth are perfect for the task, in a way that claws or crushing teeth often would be repelled. Their hemotoxic venom, while not especially potent, does make prey bleed further and enhances the consequences of shock. There are numerous reasons that they don't seem to like hunting in water deeper than a few meters. While they are fast swimmers, they cannot maintain a rapid pace for more than a few seconds. They can make a kill in the water, but not only would that commotion draw sharks and mosasaurs more proficient in this context, but they also have much easier time tearing into prey when it's pressed against the ground on land. They have been recorded hunting in the water, but this seems generally an act of desperation. They will often hunt in shallow waters, but the favored tactic is instead patrolling the shoreline. Many grazers lounge on beaches after grazing and are exhausted after feeding in the surf all day or night, depending on the species. In this state, the lizard is often able to deliver a quick and devastating kill. When they make these kills, sharks and mosasaurs won't be drawn to the scent. The Moduru is most active during the day, though they sometimes hunt in the evening, so it is still warm enough from the day but has the cover of night. Their daytime vision is exceptional, but their visual acuity at night is comparable to our own, so these evening hunts likely rely on taste to get close before an attack. They will sometimes scavenge, but generally speaking they seem to prefer making their own kills or scavenging the freshly dead, as their teeth are better suited to cut and tear flesh than crush or pick over a carcass. The Moduru is not without competition. As mentioned, numerous sharks and mosasaurs also hunt seagrass grazers, though they are generally not as proficient in very shallow water and cannot chase prey onto land. Saltwater crocodiles can, although only the largest males target this same game, and they generally don't need as many large meals that often. Moduru often defer to crocodiles of the same size or larger. While far more active, intelligent, and better armed, their bites are actually quite poor at wounding armored opponents like a crocodile, though if the lizard is substantially larger, they will often still go out of their way to kill a croc. The Trachayam alar, a species of semi-aquatic megaraptoran, also dabble in competition, though mostly they prefer to hunt fish or scavenge. Trachayam alar are, however, the most frequent predator of young Moduru, which often reside in mangroves and treetops to avoid most island predators. The urugatar, a marine bear, does directly compete with them, though these bears are now quite rare. It is believed the relatives of the urugatar were once far more successful throughout the anchored period, but the faunal turnover after the drastic climate change 1.5 million years ago, the bears dwindled and the lizard appears to have taken their place. For every one of these bears, there are hundreds of adult Moduru which readily take the fight to them. While the Moduru has a slower metabolism and therefore gets larger on less food, they still have a fairly active metabolism for a lizard and will readily challenge bears for a kill and have on numerous occasions been seen feeding on these rivals. The same weapons that make Moduru so efficient at bringing down large gracers are also well employed against the bear, and the bear's weaponry is not that good at penetrating the osteoderm armor along the lizard's hide. While ecological competition was likely the undoing of the urugatar, being directly hunted by their competition certainly doesn't help their precarious position. While adult Moduru have their predators, all are out in the deeper waters. Only while traveling through channels are they in any real danger. The kurojaku will kill and eat them, but usually the two don't intersect. It is likely that the giant megaraptoran is a factor in why the lizards don't hunt in water deeper than a few meters, though. Especially in the case of the largest males at 7 to 8 meters, they are the uncontested apex predators of these islands throughout the Trachayam Seaway. Cheers to Ian for sponsoring this episode. In our next episode, also sponsored by Ian, we will learn about the enigmatic harvest of Miocene South Africa, from which the Moduru is believed to have been harvested. Not many animals in the known world descend from this harvest, for reasons we will cover in 2 weeks' time. Thanks again to Ian, to my Patreon patrons for your support, and thank you for watching. Cheers, folks!